Hello everyone, I'm Christopher Harper and I'll be your professor for this course online, History of Journalism. And I want to welcome you all to what I consider a really fun class. Now, if you think about history, you say, well, that's going to be kind of boring. Well, what I'd like to do in this class is to provide you with a context about the history of journalism and how it's practiced, particularly in the United States and the West. But the emphasis will be on what Phil Gramm, the former editor of the Washington Post, calls journalism as the first rough draft of history. And what I mean by that, and what he means by that, is to, in this course, take a look at how great journalists went about their work, how they structured their description, how they used quotations, and how they applied storytelling, classical storytelling rather than journalistic storytelling, to a way to engage readers and viewers in what they had to talk about and what they had to say. Now, some of you may have taken an online course before, and that's good. For those of you who haven't, the really important thing is to keep up with the work. Because we don't meet in class every week or twice a week, it's really easy to fall behind. And so it's important to keep up with the work each week. It's kind of a course when you work online, and this is called an asynchronous course, which means that we don't have a live meeting either online or in person, so that what you need to really do is to check in, and I'll go through this in a little bit, each Monday to see what's going on, what you need to do. We'll be using Canvas, which I think works a lot better than Blackboard. You may be used to Blackboard, but I used Canvas last semester and found it to be working pretty well. So here's what it looks like. We'll have the home screen where you can see announcements, assignments, and here are discussions. So if you want to go specifically to announcements, it's here. Assignments are here. And I will put up announcements generally on the Friday before we start the week so that you can see what's coming up for the next week. Now, discussions, here's an important element of an online class. And so I will post at least 2 discussion questions, and you need to answer these by the assigned dates with at least 200 words, discussing the pros and cons of the issue that I raise or issues that your fellow students might raise. And what's important here is that I don't want to know the historical background and the bio of various people. I want your response, either your personal response or using library resources to take a look at the question. So for example, for the opening discussion question, I put journalism in the United States began with a distinctly partisan press, with fairness and balance only occurring as journalistic tenets in the 20th century. Isn't it better to have journalists take a position so their readers and viewers know where the reporters stand on specific issues? So please file at least 200 words via Canvas. So grades are pretty much the same as Blackboard. Here's what they look like, and it will, I tend to grade fairly quickly, but here, if there are any discrepancies, you need to tell me as soon as you can so that I can deal with them. Now, files is a very important part of this course, so that each of the PowerPoints that I use will be listed under here, and you can go back and review them as you want to. Here's the syllabus. I'm not going to go through it, in great detail. What's important here is that, and I will post this, is that the video lectures are on YouTube at this playlist, and you can go find them. Now, here are the important books that you need to get. This one is one that we will be using on a continuing basis, and so you need to get that one as soon as possible. You need to get the 2nd edition. Now, I've ordered copies at the bookstore, so you should be able to find it. Hiroshima, you could find this in the library. You can find part of it online. But I'd like you to get the entire book. Here is another book that we will be using on a continuing basis. You need to get it as soon as possible, and it's The Art of Fact. You can get this online. Please order it not with 6 weeks of shipping time, but get it Get it as soon as you can. Again, I've ordered some copies for the bookstore, and this is one that you need to get fairly soon. You might be able to find this online, but it's better just to buy the book. It's not very expensive, like $7-10. It's Walt Whitman's Memoranda During War. Okay, so that there will be five formal writing assignments, and this is an analysis of 500 words. It's called an explication. And here I want you to dig into the way that the story is written, to look at pacing, to look at the use of punctuation, to take a look at word use, but just to look at one aspect of each of these writings. And the idea here is so that you can see how great writers did it, so that you can either use or reject some of the techniques that they use. There is a 2,000 word paper that's due at the end of class. There aren't any tests here. I used to have tests, but this is really not a course about dates and times and that type of thing, although I do go through that. What it is it's focusing on how great journalists went about their work and how they did it. When it comes to other aspects of Canvas, we don't use many of them, but if you have any problems with Canvas, you can alert me, but I really can't do much to help you out. There are help via Canvas. There's also help via computer services. So if you're really running into problems, you need to contact them. And you will find the help lines and information here. And I've found that they've been relatively quick in responding to my inquiries. So if we need to meet in person or via Skype or WebEx, please let me know. Even though we don't meet in class every week, if you're running into problems, let me know as soon as possible. If you just want to chat about stuff, that's fine too. So that you can reach me at charper@temple.edu at any time that you want. And we'll see you online. Thanks very much.